Welcome back to Football Pundits, everybody. And this is the second episode in our series of season previews. We have Chirag with us. He's a Chelsea fan. And we're going to be looking at Chelsea Football Club. We're looking at all the transfers, about Frank Lampard, how he did in the first season, what his expectations are for the coming season, and is it maybe time for him to stand up and show that he could be the next manager to run the Premier League? So, Chirag, straight to you. What are your first thoughts on Frank Lampard's season at Chelsea, his first season?
I think I've been here before as well, and I've told you guys that I think Lampard coming to Chelsea was a blessing for the club. I think each Chelsea fan is extremely proud with the given the curtailed amount of resources that he had in the first year, still managing to finish top four, something that we did predict, but of course we would have settled for anything top six, top eight, top 10. And for us, this year the coming year is going to be extremely vital because I think we've been watchful with how we've spent this money. Of course, the world doesn't believe so, but we know that this attack that we've got is going to be mind blowing. It's one of the. I mean, I think Lampard's pretty much optimized for every position that he was sort of lacking in the team, and it wasn't as as powerful. I think he's put his mind together. He's got the club in the driving seat. I guess I wouldn't put it past this particular team to actually win the titles that are coming up.
Yeah, Kern, so, why I asked him about Frank Lampard, right off the bat, right? It is true that, if you're being very honest and looking at it very straight up, Lampard had no signings. He had to walk into a squad, literally pick up whatever there was left and just tell them, you know what, you are my best guys. I'm going to motivate you, go play. And for maybe, let's say, 70% of the season, he did that. But what I don't like is the fact that there was some very biased comparisons that, he's better than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's miles ahead of Arteta. And if you had to ask me very honestly, look at Arteta, he's in a way worse position, right? And that was very well evident in the FA Cup final, where he was proven wrong, that he's not tactically that strong yet. Do you think, Kern, that Frank Lampard is the manager that people say he is, or maybe there's something lacking there?
I mean, so honestly, right off the bat, between those three names that you just taken, tactically, I would say Arteta is ahead both of the others, just in terms of footballing mind. I'm not even going to say Ole, just, having worked with Pep and this and that, you can just see Arteta is a lot better tactically. Whether that'll show on the pitch or not is a completely different thing, but on paper, for me, I think Lampard in his first season has done enough. It's a little funny that we can say that we're talking about the first season of, how he's performed so much without having resources. And now he's just gone and spent everything possible, he spent, as I don't think it's possible to spend more in transfer season, is it? Like, I don't know. I don't think it's possible.
I mean, see, Kern, to be fair,
especially
that's
considering
how
you also got Pulisic, right?
people talk about net spends, right? They sold Hazard and they sold Morata. I mean, between the two of those players, they have almost 160 million right there. Out of which,
Yeah, but it's Arsenal fans who talk about net spends, man. I'm not one who. I'm just talking about this season.
so I'm being very
sold. Everyone's been sold. It's fine.
yeah, I'm trying to be very specific.
No, so see, my point wasn't to get into anything or to rib about, oh my God, you guys are spending so much. The point was that where he had a season of, proving himself with no resources, now he has nowhere to hide, right? All of last season, no matter what the result was, even Chirag said it, the fact that they got top four was great and he performed well for that.
Yep.
But if they would finish 6, 8, 10 anywhere, it would be like, you know what? It's fine. He didn't have the resources. That's why. But now, this season, if he does not challenge for the Premier League with the signings he's done, kudos to him to recognize those players and get those signings done.
Right.
It showed Lampard's, initiative and pull as well, that he's been able to get these signings done. Obviously, he had to spend money on them, but not everyone. These are players who anyone would have taken.
Right.
So for the fact that threw them to Chelsea is great. But now he has nowhere to hide. Roman Abramovich is that kind of guy. Yes, Lampard is a legend. It'll be difficult to just chuck him out on his ass if he doesn't perform. But Lampard has to prove himself this season.
So, Chirag, I'm going to take that to you,
Yeah.
Chirag. Tell me,
Yeah.
you can add your point, but you can answer this question after that. I want to talk about Roman Abramovich as well, because let's say whatever you want about Chelsea. Since Jose Mourinho's first reign at Chelsea. Chelsea done the chop and change with managers, with players, and they've always seemed to get a success formula. They've won those Premier Leagues in intervals. They won the FA Cups. They won the League Cups, right? Do you think the way Chelsea are lined up, Lampard doesn't matter as much on the field? They basically are making sure that every manager who's come in before gets the players. And so it's fair for them to have that kind of opinion on how quickly a guy gets fired or no?
Yeah, so I think to Kern's point first, I don't think Lampard is the guy who wants to hide, right? I mean, clearly, in the very first year, he's come in, like we've said, he's literally been in shackles and still made it to the top four. So I don't think the guy is one to hide or try and, blame. I think, there have been times when people have spoken about Mourinho blaming it on a lot of players or his staff for that matter. I don't think he's the guy to do that. More importantly, I feel that Chelsea, to address your point, Animesh, Chelsea's always had the best of managers, and they've had this, plug and play with different managers coming in all the time. But they've also had some really good players, right? And those players might not necessarily be the ones that are, creme de la creme. I think these guys are also, I would say, they're really good finds, right, from across the leagues that are there in Europe. I think it's also about how you get them to play together. So a guy who has worked with academy players in the past and who's actually finished top four with the guys he had at hand last year. Just imagine what he will be able to do with the guys he's trying to get in right now. Yeah, it's definitely one of the most exciting times for Chelsea right after the 2004-2007.
Chirag, essentially, you're saying that Robben's system kind of works for you guys, right?
It does, because I think that it's perform or perish, and it's pretty. I mean, in some cases, of course, you're biased. You have a good season. You finish second and not first. You feel like the guy should stay. And that has happened also at most times. So he's not been reckless as such. But of course, if we don't finish or don't sort of qualify for the Champions League, or for that matter, we've performed in a series of games against probably the lower half of the table in not the best or a shabby performance there. That's when I think those actions come in. He becomes a little stricter with how he wants to see things. I think it's worked. And it should work, because that's what keeps them on their feet. And it's okay. I mean, Lampard is still going to be considered as a legend, I guess, forever for Chelsea. And maybe as a manager, in the first year, he's proven himself extremely well. And the second year he doesn't do it. I think there will be a third year to Lampard, and that will definitely get us the title.
I was going to ask you that in the end. Maybe we'll address that in the end. I'll interrupt you right now so we can fill in the middle right now. Let's talk about the signings then, okay? You've identified that last year defense was the problem, which is why you had the results you had. Your attack kind of held up enough, right? Giroud's experience, Tammy's youth and space. Pulisic was dynamic. Willian was dynamic, okay? Now, which of these signings are you the most excited for, and who do you think was the most crucial? So Chelsea have signed Thiago Silva on the free, Ben Chilwell for about £50 million. Malang Sarr could go back out on loan, but again, the defender on the free. They needed that defender, right? They have obviously signed Timo Werner. They have Ziyech and Havertz. So Chirag, who are you the most excited about to see, and who do you think could potentially be the person who could make you a title winner this season itself?
Okay, so even before I saw the preseason game that they had against Brighton, if I'm not mistaken, I was always hooting for and gunning for Ziyech. Okay, Ziyech is definitely my pick, because I think the guy he's the architect of the game that we have to rely on. I guess Pulisic, Werner, etc. are just going to be there to get the supply and finish for us. And of course, that way, if you look at it, they're going to get us the goals. But this guy is going to be the De Bruyne of Chelsea for this year. I think I'm really excited about him. And
you're going to sell him to a rival soon?
No, not at all. I think
he's the De Bruyne route.
Yeah, I think we're getting him for a longer play here, and I think he's going to be extremely crucial to all the tournaments that we're going to play this year. and I'm really excited to see that guy come on and rock the bridge.
Karan, who do you think that is the signing that you are the most scared to see for Chelsea, and you worry could be as as a top four rival, could be the undoing of, let's say, your side?
Obviously Ziyech is the big one, as Chirag saying. Werner is a scary one for me. He's lethal in front of goal, right? He could easily be that Drogba in that sense. So while Drogba had big names providing to him, Drogba bought his own fear and Drogba bought his own personality. I think Werner can do that. Anywhere I'm sort of going to go slightly to the negative side of this is I still think Chelsea have not addressed defense. They had the worst defensive season since 96-97. Yes, Thiago Silva is a good signing. His numbers speak for itself, right? PSG just conceded 24 goals in 27 games last season. He conceded just like I think 4 fouls in the Champions League and stuff like that. But he's a bit too old.
Stopgap. It's a stopgap, right? They clearly want some of the younger players to develop in the meanwhile, and they're hoping that they develop or they learn from an experienced person around him. So you have Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva who are very experienced. Maybe then you have Reece James, you have Christensen, all the ones who are going to learn around him, right? Chilwell is quite experienced. I know he's a young player, but he's been playing for 3 years now, gone from regular starter at Leicester to England national player and doing very well for England. So I feel maybe it's only that one centre-back position where Rudiger is good enough, but I think Christensen's not strong enough yet, right?
Yeah.
That's so for me, Annie, the problem with Lampard is he had this at Derby as well. Most goals conceded on the break, on counters, right? So Lampard tactically clearly does not know how to solve that problem so far. From his 2 managing seasons, he does not know how to solve that.
True.
He's not made signings to solve that, even though he has the best central defensive midfielder in the world in Kante, right? I think there's a sort of over-reliance on him. He obviously had injury phases last year. I think that would have been one of the positions for me that I would have wanted, as if suppose I was a Chelsea fan, I would have wanted assurances in that spine at the back. The keeper, obviously, you can't rely on. Centre backs have proven that they're not that reliable. And then the central defensive midfield, when Kante is not there, seem to just break down. So that is my scare. If I was a Chelsea fan, I think, yes, signings up front, probably one of the best attacking teams in the world.
Even their midfield. I think the midfield is already set. Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho. Can't get better than that, I guess.
Yeah, but I think just in that position of Kante, if he's not fit, and then behind him, that position, those 4, is, if I were a Chelsea fan, I'd be really worried, because even last season wasn't like a problem that they weren't being able to score goals. They were scoring goals, even with Pulisic, with Tammy, with Giroud. They were scoring goals with them. Defensively was their undoing, right? So I think that's the biggest chink in Chelsea's armor, essentially, for me.
Chirag, let me try to advocate something here. Do you think that Thiago Silva is also in your squad because he's trying to maybe make a good run at the Champions League?
I think it's the last 2 years. If I just was to take you guys back to how Terry was, right? I think he's going to play that position for us in the next 2 years. So I'm actually not. I'm not fretting as much as Kern sort of is provocating me to sort of fret about. I guess Silva and Rudiger are going to be my mainstays and of course, Aspi is always there to play backup. On the left, we're going to have Chilwell. On the right, we're going to have Reece James. And Reece James, by the way, has proven how good he is already in the last few games in the season as well. So I think we have a pretty solid defense. I'm not really concerned. I think signing Silva and maybe if we still go on to get Declan Rice, I think we're pretty solid.
Why don't you go on and just finish the lineup? How do you see your squad lining up in your first Premier League game? Or not first, through the course of the season, because with COVID, it's not fair. Some players might not be able to play, quarantine and stuff like that. How do you see your side lining up, let's say, November in the Champions League?
So I'm going to give you the desired, like a dream state, right? I'm going to give you the dream state that we're going to have, and we're closer to having than ever before. We're going to have William Gabriello take goal. We're going to have Chilwell. We're going to have, as I said, Rudiger. We're going to have Silva, and we're going to have on the right Reece James. Up ahead of that, we're going to have 3 people play. We're going to have Kante and we're going to have Kovacic. Ahead of Kante and Kovacic, I see on the left having Pulisic, in the middle having Ziyech, and on the right having Havertz. And on up top, we're going to have Werner. And I think that's going to be a devastating side, and I'm sure of it. I'm sure we're going to get at least the Champions League or the Premier League. One of them is definitely coming home.
So I think he's already given us his prediction, so that saves us some time going there. Kern, so that you can get in something as well here. I was going to add earlier that my player to watch this season is Havertz. As a reason the deal has been taking so long to get done. Leverkusen know what they're letting go of. And trust me, the Premier League might just see a very explosive player. You could see a younger version of Thomas Müller. He has got that kind of talent and pace in him, but that amazing burst that Müller has to get into the box and just hammer that ball in. Right? We saw that against Barcelona. That's the kind of player you're getting in Havertz. Kern, since Chirag's given us kind of his prediction, I'm going to take it there to you first, and I'm going to let Chirag close his prediction out as well. Where do you see Chelsea with these signings compared to the top four rivals? Where do you see them finishing? And where do you think that if they don't finish would be a big failure for them? Like we said with Spurs, right? I thought Spurs will definitely be top four.
I think Chelsea top four, yes. I still think because of the defensive issues that I said earlier that they haven't addressed, is going to be their undoing in a lot of ways. I see them third or fourth. I see them actually doing a better Champions League run than a Premier League run, because so many times in those competitions you can set up for that competition and on those days the team can perform. But in the Premier League, you sort of, those defensive lapses against the lower sides is what exposes you, right, in the Premier League.
Right.
So that's where I see their undoing getting done. So I see them doing a good Champions League run, third or fourth in the Prem, depending on how much. Honestly, it just depends on how much United showed up. I see Liverpool, City, as of now, having enough of a gap still on the others. So if United get their signings, then third, and then Chelsea fourth for me. If not, then Chelsea third.
Interesting. Chirag, you can elaborate now on your prediction, and then we'll close after that. Where do you think Chelsea will finish? In the top four for sure? And do you think they'll win at least one of the cups?
So I do. I think I've made it explicitly clear that we're going to definitely. It's for the taking. I think with this kind of a rounded up side, with them having some experience of playing together, at least in the defensive formation, there's not so much of a change. There's going to be Silva, there's going to be Chilwell, but I guess the two of them coming together are only going to add value to this team a lot more than it had earlier. So I guess I'm going for Chelsea, just about nicking it from City. Liverpool falling to number 3, and I think it's either going to be United or Arsenal. I think more than United, I'm going for Arsenal securing a top 4 finish this year.
Very interesting predictions there, and I kind of agree with it, but I won't elaborate too much because we are doing previews for all the traditional top 6 sides, right? But I do actually see myself looking at City and Liverpool and maybe not doing that well this year. I feel that the gap is finally going to be closed this year, which is why City desperately want Koulibaly and Liverpool haven't got anybody. I don't think with that thinner squad you can mount a challenge 3 years in a row, Champions League and Premier League. But I don't want to get too much into that. So yes, I do see Chelsea definitely finishing in the top 4, or they should finish in the top 4, just like with Spurs with the kind of squad they have, like how Mourinho's got time to iron that squad out. Not finishing the top 4 would be failure for both these managers, right? So that's what I see. I do see Chelsea though winning one of the League Cup or the FA Cup, because I think Lampard will prioritize that this season. He's got the signings to do it. He's got some more depth in that squad to challenge on those fronts, right? So I think that's it for our Chelsea season preview. We've given you our predictions. We all feel that Chelsea will be finishing in the top 4. Not finishing so could be a failure in the sign of, in my eyes at least. But hey, the Chelsea fan obviously will say no. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into all our episodes. Thank you, Chirag, for being here. We hope you subscribe to our channel, hit like on our videos, turn on your notifications. You can hit us up on Instagram and Twitter. That includes Chirag as well. We will be coming up with more of these season previews, and we'll make sure you tune into the next one. See you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Annie. Thanks, Kern. It's been a great time again being on the show, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. So keep going. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
That's so sweet.
You actually made Kern cry. See you guys.
See you guys soon.